assisting our producers to export more product and to sell the high quality of the product we produce and to not sell it cheaply.
You're talking about breaking the supermarket duopoly?
Absolutely. If I hear down, down, down one more time...
Do you think that's a metaphor for what they're doing for farmers?
It is absolutely. I mean, I've got some first-hand experience of dealing with supermarkets, and fair play is not words that are in their dictionary, to put it bluntly. As I say, my cost of production, I'd make a return on the peaches if I could get $4 a kilo, and as you see, they sell for $2 in the supermarket. So who do you think's losing out in that equation? So to me, it's the government has a great role to play in promoting this fantastic product we have. We have amazing quality assurance programs. I would veer away from more regulation because we go through so much regulation as it is. In terms of chemical usage, chemicals are very expensive, so chemical usage is limited to as much as it possibly can be, just because of sheer expense. But also the farmers are dealing with these chemicals, so they don't want to overuse these chemicals either. So I think there's been an simplification.
Right.
We're going to sorry, I beg your pardon. Joel.
Yeah, just a quick bit of perspective. We export twice as much food as we import. So we're very much a net exporter, but you are right. We are importing too much cheap food, and the people most empowered to do something about that are those in this audience and those living right across Australia. Just don't buy the cheap stuff because it's not safe. And one of the positives to come out of the berry scare is that people are now starting to realise that and will start voting with their feet. The government needs to play a number of roles. Of course, the labelling has to be clear and concise so that people do know what they're buying. And secondly, governments, again, have to have a strategy in place.
Well, you've been complaining, just to bring you to the point, I'm sure you're going to reach it, you've been complaining publicly about the lack of a government white paper on agriculture.
Well, I have, because again, I've said on a number of occasions tonight, we don't have any overarching strategic direction. Barnaby Joyce might argue that's on its way. By virtue of the white paper. I'm sceptical about that, but it's on the never ever in any case. We've had 18 months of the Abbott government now. We've had no agriculture policy for all of that time. Okay. We need to help growers find niche, high-value markets to increase their sustainable profitability.
Okay, Fiona Nash.
Thanks, Tony. I wish I had a bit longer to rebut some of that. But it's interesting. Under Labor, we had a $30 million food plan that went absolutely nowhere. It was a bunch of motherhood statements. So it's interesting that Joel's now saying that we don't have one.
Well, when are you going to see your white paper was due last year? We still haven't seen it.
Everybody sitting in this audience and around the country would want to make sure we get the best outcome out of that. And if it takes a bit longer than we said, well, I think they'd be fine with that.
Before the election, or?
Well, I think they'd be fine with that. But in answer to the question, I think there's a couple of things. In answer to the question, there's a couple of things. We've got to open up markets. There's Robyn's dead right. We've got to open up markets. We've done it with the free trade agreements with Japan and Korea and China. We've got to look to opening other markets as well. And the other thing we've got to do is give people the opportunity to buy Australian. And it's taken this coalition government to actually now make sure we're going to get the labelling right. Unlike Joel, he could have done that in government and he didn't do it. But it's really important that we buy Australian, and we need to give Australian consumers the ability to go in and see grown in Australia, bought in Australia,
there was a bit of a delay in that star system, but we won't go there. I want to hear from Rob.
But we'll get it in there.
Rob.